Hey guys, I'm making mini plans and welcome back to my channel. My mini happy planner is back for another flip through video, and this time I'm going to be showing you how the month of July wrapped up for me. Just taking you through my complete spreads and how I set each one up and what my planning process was for the month. So yeah, let's get started. Just to let you know, I've actually taken some of the previous months out of this planner. I was traveling recently and I kind of wanted my plan to be a bit lighter for travel. So I took some of the earlier months out, which is why it doesn't look as chunky as it normally does. But I've still got like the month of June onwards in this planner. So it's all in there. And I'm going to flip through to July now. This is my currently page for July. I set this up using stickers from two main sticker books. The first one is Happy Blooms, which you've probably seen me use before. I really love this sticker book. And that was mainly for the florals. And then I used the rest was mostly this one from the Wrong collab. This is the Going Places sticker book. Really love using this as well. I kind of have paired those two sticker books before in my planner for last year. And so using that again, just having a holiday vibe, kind of going with that theme. The florals, I really love the colors in this, and I think it came together really well, even though I've used it already before in a similar kind of theme in the past. I think using it here again just made it feel a bit more, I don't know, I felt like I really enjoyed just pairing these two sticker books together. They kind of complemented each other really well, I feel. So yeah, I'm happy with how this turned out. I actually haven't finished completing this spread. I do need to fill out more of it. As you can see, I did redate this page, so I kind of had to cover up the month underneath here with the floral stickers and then rewrite it in here. But I had space to write down what I was watching and listening to. And then I also, at the beginning of the month, I did make sure to kind of have things that I wanted to focus on in the month. And I also had some good highlights as well. I watched a couple dramas. One in particular I really enjoyed was a Chinese drama called Love Story in the 1970s. It was really fun, really cute. And I also watched Dali and Coggy Prince. That was also a really nice one. I actually haven't completed this currently page. As you can see, there's still this space here. I'm actually going to fill that out right now, just so the actual page looks complete now. So let me do that now. Just a small memory of what I enjoyed in the month. I usually use a section like this for the memory keeping, so this will be a nice space to just jot down something that I felt like was a highlight of the month. Yep, so I basically decided to go with a memory of hosting a trivia night in my young adults group. So that was really fun. And I think it was just nice to remember that because I almost forgot that happened last month. It felt like it was recent, but not that recent. But anyway, that's all filled out now. I mean, there's this kind of space here, which I might fill out later, maybe add something else in there. But for now, that's kind of done. And so I really like these florals in particular. I just really love those. And I still have some left, so I'll definitely be using that going forward in other spreads. Maybe more journal entries, but we'll see. And now for my monthly page, which is of course matched up with the currently page. I think compared to the currently page though, if I'm looking at them, there's you probably noticed that this is more pink and purple, whereas there's more orange and yellow inserted in here. So that's probably like the main difference, but you can still kind of see the link between them. Again, I didn't really do much with this month in terms of filling out the pages, but I was mostly tracking my bills, which I normally do anyway, and then a few events here and there. I had some box stickers that I used. I don't use a lot of box stickers in the monthly pages, only because the boxes are quite small and I find like I don't really need to. But this sidebar, compared to last month, I didn't write too much in it. I just had things I wanted to make sure I completed, or at least remembered to complete. So that was important to have that here. But other than that, this is a very minimal spread. I'm currently using an outdated planner, so I did have to redate this month of July. As you can see, I've used date stickers to change the dates here. And also I used the marker to change the year. And so this is basically how the spread came out, with different dates on it. And I also had to cover up the holidays already pre-printed in here, which is kind of easy to do because I just use stickers on top of them. So they're kind of hidden here, as you can see. But other than that, it wasn't that difficult to redate this page, which is good. So yeah. And another thing I just did was kind of just track any events that I had going on. Like I went bowling one day, and I also did some, filming and things like that. So yeah, very simple spread, as you can see, which is probably going to be an ongoing theme for me. But this spread really works for me. I think having monthly layout like this that doesn't look too cluttered is better for me, and I'm really happy with that. So now I'm going to go to the weekly pages. This is week 1 of July, and the weekly spreads I did have to redate as well, but I think what I did is I used old inserts from a previous planner that I had that were had the same dates to match up. So rather than changing the dates manually here, I just slotted in an old insert that just had the same dates on it, and I just covered up the the name of the month that was originally on here. So and I think that actually kind of really worked well for me this month. I found the perfect insert to put in here, and it just worked out. So I was so happy that I could do that. But this spread in particular, I used 2 sticker books. So I also used the Happy Blooms again for this, but for the functional boxes, I used Peony Sky. And this is one of my newest sticker books in my collection. So I'm still trying to get used to using this, but I think I really like the way it turned out in this spread. I loved trying to match this kind of color here. I don't know if it's really maroon or like dark red, but trying to match that with florals I found really difficult at first, but then I came across these florals here and I thought they kind of go well together, especially with the red shades of red dotted around. I think I really like that kind of combination. So yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite spreads this month, and I haven't showed you the rest yet, but I really enjoyed this one. I like the layout of this. I did have my priority list in this dotted section rather than in the bulleted section, but I also had a small list here as well for things I wanted to focus on for the week. And I tried to keep things fairly simple. My habit tracker was up here, and I kind of felt like I only really included this to use up the habit trackers from this Peony Sky sticker book because they're quite big, and I was like, how am I going to make use of these stickers? I don't know if I'll use them in for any other purpose. So I found having them here was just probably convenient. And then I've been trying to work out where to put quote stickers, and so I was trying out putting them in here without taking up too much space on the daily sections. And so this was nice to kind of try this out, and it worked out because I didn't have too much going on in the weekend, so that was good. And then my playlist went down here. Also had used a large box sticker for the quotes, which I kind of tend to do quite often because I want to make sure I have space to write my scripture of the week, and that was good to have there. And then of course I had my review and reflection section. So, which is basically just me writing down bullet points of at the end of the week, like how I felt the week has gone, and if there's anything I need to focus on going forward, if there's anything I do need to improve. So that was jotted down there. But I think this spread in particular, just the colors really worked well together, and I felt like I had a lot of space to write, and just yeah, it just really worked well. So this was such a good week for me. I remember this was a really good week for me. So I even had a small section to write like a highlight. So that was really nice. It was really fun. Another thing I made space for this week was a gratitude section. And I think this week was a really nice week for me as well because I was getting a lot of feedback on my YouTube videos, which I was really grateful for that time because still being kind of new to YouTube, it's hard for me to gauge how things are going. But when you get like nice comments from people and likes, and you can see the views going up and things like that, it's kind of encouraging, and it's been giving me a bit more confidence. So I was definitely grateful for that this particular week. This is week 2, and I used a sticker kit from Papershare for this. This is their countryside kit, as you can see here. There are quite a lot of sheets in this sticker kit, and I still have a lot left over, but I really love using this in my planner. I haven't used Papershare stickers in a while, so I wasn't really sure how I was going to go about doing this. I initially used the sticker kit in, I think, in a monthly and currently page from my previous planner from like last year, I think. But so I hadn't used it on a weekly spread before, but this week was pretty busy. I went to 2 birthday parties over the weekend, so that was really fun to celebrate with others, but also a little bit quite busy and tiring. But yeah, it was nice. Oh yeah, I wasn't working this week. I just realized, yeah, I had the week off, so I wasn't trying to do too much. At the same time, though, although I was keeping a little bit busy, I wasn't really making space for hobbies and things like that. So I found like I was kind of exhausting myself a lot, even though I was supposed to be on holiday and relaxing. So I think I was found that a little bit tough. My Bible reading this week focused on the topic of hope. So every week I have daily scripture writing that's focused on a different theme, and this week was focused on hope. And so I picked a Bible verse from the list to kind of have as the Bible verse of this week, and I chose Proverbs 23 verse 18, which says, "There's surely a future hope for you, and your hope will not be cut off." So even though this week was kind of tough and challenging that way, I had that verse to kind of remind me that, everything you're working towards, there is a light at the end of that. So I found that quite encouraging this week. I think this is one of the first weeks where I actually left an intentional space for the review and reflection section. Usually I don't leave a space this big for it, but I thought I might as well try that out. And I also had a section down here left for the habits rather than up here this time, which I think I might consider that more often because I don't really track a lot of habits. At least I didn't track that many this month. So leaving a small space rather than a larger one probably would be better. And yeah, I didn't have too many priorities this week, but I kind of also didn't really get most of them done. And I think the hardest thing I've been struggling with is just being more analog. I've just been trying to manage my energy, and I feel like I'm focusing a lot of that on work and things like that and other obligations, but not really having a lot of time for trying out different hobbies or activities aside from the ones I regularly do, which is not very often. So that was one thing that was kind of something I had to come to terms with this week. But I do like working with this kit. I think I really love the colors, and it kind of gives a summer vibe. So I was happy to use that this week. This is week 3, and as you can see, I've used this sticker book before in this planner, but this is Midnight Botanical. I have the mini size, and yeah, I think this time I think previously I did an orange and green spread in this book. I wanted to go with a bit more purple and pink kind of vibe, so that's kind of what happened with this week. I have kind of played with those colors in my planner last year. And I think now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of the spreads I set up this week were kind of reminding me of previous spreads in my previous planner. That's kind of interesting. It wasn't really planned, but yeah, this is kind of very similar to what I did in a previous planner. Um, I kind of broke up this page into more sections than I usually do. So I had my gratitude here. I tried to remind myself of things I needed to buy, and then my habits will kind of squeeze in there, and also the playlist here. So all the things I kind of regularly track, they were all on one page rather than split between the two. And then I added in here my meals that I just wanted to keep a record of what I was eating this week. So that was interesting. I was also planning for a trivia night here, so I didn't really do a lot of tasks because I was kind of focused on preparing for the trivia night. So yeah, it doesn't feel like I did much this week except for that. And I also went bowling over the weekend. So yeah, it felt like I had a little bit of a busy week outside of work as well. So yeah, I didn't want to do too much. And also, I think if I'm looking at my review inflection here, I did say I was mostly focused on work, and I didn't really have much time for any social media content this week. So yeah, I felt busy because I was planning towards other things and focusing on work as well. This was pretty easy to decorate. I think I wanted to have butterflies in the spread because I love butterfly spreads. And I also knew that I wanted to have some box stickers, but not too many. So I felt like I could get away with it. And also using the quote stickers here, I really like having those there. Again, I tried to slip one into the daily section without taking up too much space, and I think that worked out quite well. So I might try that out in more spreads going forward, but it obviously depends on the type of quote stickers I use. So overall, I don't mind this spread. I think this is really nice. It's not probably one of my favorites, but it definitely worked in terms of what I needed it to do. So I'm happy with that. On to week 4. This sticker book is one you've probably seen me use before a number of times now. And this is the Sound of Wind flower color. I'm still making my way through the sticker book. I still have a lot of stickers left, but every time I decide to make a spread with this, I'm always trying to figure out exactly what I want to do because there aren't a lot of functional stickers in here. And if I want to use the decorative stickers, I want to try and find functional stickers that go with them. And I often have to use other sticker books to do that, like I did here. So I think I used functional stickers from Faith Mood for this one. Yeah, this is a sticker book I used for like the box stickers here. And I think the bullet stickers came from them as well, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I wanted to keep this very chill. I just wanted to be kind of more relaxed and focus on the functional aspect of it. So I think I just wanted to make sure I was preparing and planning as much as possible. As you can see here, most of this page is filled up with my tasks and events and what I was watching at that time. I had my habits tracked here, and I also had a little space left for my review and reflection, but I just really didn't focus on that too much. One thing I noticed here is in my priorities, I was trying to remind myself to submit a renewal application. And if you look back on my previous weeks, I'd also had them listed in the priorities there, but hadn't completed them. And so I had to really say, no, now you have to really do it. And so I made sure I wrote it down with the exclamation points, and I finally completed it that week. But yeah, sometimes if you are finding that your tasks aren't being completed over the weeks, I think you probably just need to push yourself a little bit more. And that's what I feel like I need to do sometimes. And that's pretty normal, I guess, for anybody. Another thing I probably feel like I haven't been as focused on much is journaling, especially with my faith journal. I really want to dive more into that. But trying to juggle that and work and everything hasn't been very easy. So that's another thing that I haven't been checking off. especially with the analog activities I'm trying to do. Finding time for that, especially finding the energy for that, can be a bit of a challenge, but it's something I'm trying to work around now. I'm still figuring that out, so it's gonna come with time, I think. And but yeah, for now it's kind of up in the air. So having said that, I really love these stickers, especially this one. I wanted to use this in a spread, just didn't know where, but I thought, you know what, this, although it doesn't feel super summery, I think even the colors still give a calm vibe, and sometimes you need a bit of a calm season in the summer months. So yeah, for the most part, I think this is a really nice spread, and especially focusing more on the functional side. I also had space to write my verse of the week, and this week I was focusing on leadership. So that was an encouraging verse there, and also had some gratitude, which I wrote in the form of a prayer, small prayer there. But overall, I really like this spread. Here is the final week of July, and I created this spread using the Squad Girl seasonal sticker books. I use both sticker books for this one, so I have the This Is Your Year sticker book and the Love Every Season. I've made so many spreads using these sticker books now that I feel like I'm running out of ideas of making unique spreads. Oftentimes I feel like I enjoy using more like the decorative clear stickers that are like the kiss cut, I guess you call them, ones, rather than the decorative boxes like this one, just because I feel like you could kind of fit them um, in more convenient spaces without taking up too much space. But this time I was like, no, I want to use more of these decorative boxes, or at least try and fit one in there. This was originally one sticker with the quote on the top here, but I just thought I'm going to cut that out, put that somewhere else, and see if that works. I also wanted to be a bit more creative with the box stickers as well. So this was originally one cylindrical box sticker, and I cut that in half. Thought I use that as decoration instead, rather than as a functional box. So that was something different I tried this week. This week was really fun because I went on a trip and I went to the Commonwealth Games just over the weekend. And technically that happened in August, so it's not really part of July, which is why I didn't note it down as a highlight on my currently page. But it will probably go in the currently page for August as one of my favorite memories. It was really fun because it was my first experience going to a major sports event, and I feel like I had a great time. I went to see some netball, some athletics, so that was really fun to be part of a large audience and get to witness different countries competing against each other. That was a really great time. And yeah, I'm glad I had my travel checklist, which helped me plan in advance for the trip. I used a large box sticker this time because I wasn't really focused on having priorities this week. I kind of wanted to plan towards the trip and focus on some content planning as well. So I thought having a travel checklist would make it easier for me to plan towards the trip I had. And it actually worked out. I think having the list that I got, I made sure I ticked everything off before I left. And so that was really useful for the trip. This was kind of also different from my previous weeks in that I used this section here for the daily scriptures I was focusing on. So, like I said before, I do like daily Bible reading, and which focuses on a different theme each week. And this week was on the topic of justice. So I thought it might be useful to just write down all the scriptures I'm going to focus on this week so that I have them as a place to reference when I want to write them down in my notebook. And so having the whole list there showed me which ones I need to complete each day, which is nice. And I still had a section for my verse of the week here. So I chose another verse from Proverbs. And this one is from chapter 21, verse 3. It says, "To do what is right and just is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice." So I still had plenty of space for scripture writing there, and also my review and reflection section. Didn't do any habit tracking this week, and I did have a playlist, although I kind of had to squeeze it around this second space, which is fine. But yeah, this was a quite effective week for me because I'm really happy that I had the travel checklist in here. And also, I wasn't too focused on priorities this week, or at least I tried to give myself a bit of a break for that and just focus on what I need to do, preparing towards the new month, I was filming some videos, I think, over the last 2 weeks of this month. So um, getting the editing done was also really important. So I tried to focus on that as well. I'm just gonna have to try more ideas on how I want to use these sticker books going forward, because there's still so many stickers left, and I do try to use the functional box stickers in other themes, but mostly the decorative stickers, I'm trying to figure out how I want to use them, especially the decorative boxes. I think trying to find creative ways to do it, like here, is a bit tricky for me. So I'll definitely be thinking about how I want to use these sticker books going forward. So that was all 5 weeks of July, and here is my final flip through. I think what this month taught me is that even having like a summer break doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a relaxing one. I think I had a week off this month, but it was definitely one of my busier weeks in the month. I felt like I had a lot to do, and I also felt like if I wasn't getting what I wanted to do done, then I wouldn't have felt like the time off was worth it. But at the same time, I would have valued a bit more time to rest. So it's a little bit of a tricky thing to balance. But I did learn a lot from that week. It was, although it was a tough one, I felt like I learned a lot from it, and I kind of had to encourage myself that when I returned to work, that I needed to adapt some things, needed to give myself a little bit of a break, but also stay on top of things, but not push myself too much, which can be a difficult thing to do at times. But at least I try not to dwell on that too much. But I think this month also, in terms of like the decorating, I felt like there was a little bit of deja vu, referring to like sticker books that I used in similar ways in previous planners and previous spreads. And so that was another interesting thing. And also trying to keep my decorative planning consistent and also refreshing in a way that I don't feel like I get tired of the spreads I'm creating. That's another thing that's also in the back of my mind. But my main priority in terms of that is trying to use up my stickers as much as possible. I don't really want to be buying sticker books, new sticker books, and things like that, just because I'm getting tired of the ones I'm already using. I kind of want to find ways to use my current sticker books in different ways and unique ways so that I can keep enjoying this, which is the main goal for me. So overall, I enjoyed this month despite the challenges I faced, because there was definitely some highlights, like the trivia night I planned. That was a really fun thing for me to do. And also just preparing to travel as well. That was also weirdly, in a strange way, fun and exciting, even though I was kind of busy during the week as well with other things. So it felt like a nice reward at the end of the month, which technically was in August. So, but yeah, I don't mind July. I think if I definitely have to choose a favorite spread, it's definitely this one. I love the vibe it gave. I just like pairing these two sticker books together. I would definitely consider doing that again in the future, but also trying to do it in a way that feels new and fresh. Yeah, that's it for this video. If you have any questions or any comments, please drop them down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.